What's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be celebrating Monolith Soft's RPG Xenoblade Chronicles 2, its 5th anniversary on the market. Recently they did celebrate that December 1st, 2017, so I wanted to go over 50 different things that I really liked about the RPG, ranging from practical stuff to kind of weird, but hey, it's 50 things. We need to make up for lost time. I never covered the anniversaries beforehand that much with the video or anything. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. Starting off at number 50, and it's not in chronological order, and I'm just gonna be rambling off a bunch of different things. So stay with me here, guys. The hype heading into launch was awesome. One of the most hyped Monolith Soft games of all time. I felt it from all corners as I was covering this game. It was just super cool to get people excited about an RPG like this, when before you didn't really see that heading into Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and also heading into Xenoblade Chronicles X because of the Wii U's position on the market. So it's really cool to see that the hype cycle heading into the game was in full drive. Next up, the day-night cycle with the music that changes. This is something that's just dope in Monolith Soft games, but in particular this game, because the day-night cycle, the music changed and the graphics looked really good when it comes to like the shading and everything. So something that I really found awesome about the game. Next up, Rex's first battle against Morag. Like, you saw the screenshots beforehand and that was awesome to see it, but to actually see how it played out and that fight and how they worked together after that was something really cool about the game. Next up, the price value of the physical edition. Now listen guys, when I buy a game, I like to get a little bit of kickback at times too. When I buy my physical games, I'm investing into the game because it could be worth something more later. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 taught me, hey, you need to make sure that you buy your games physical even more. Pay more attention, especially with the RPGs, as the value has shot up, and I love that about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Next up is when Mythra first appeared. I mean, we saw Mythra beforehand, but we didn't know exactly how Mythra came about because it was about Pyra with the early marketing of the game. So to see when Mythra bust onto the scene, to see how it was done, it was just an awesome sight at first. Next up, how lovely and lively the towns are. Like, the towns in this game are really good. People are moving around, it's active, they have like a little economy and market going. I was actually really impressed with how the towns looked and how many people were there and what was just going on my screen. It's pretty crazy to see how well it was done, considering there isn't a lot of games on the Nintendo Switch that did it as good as Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Next up, the time Tora got caught being a little bit of a naughty pawn with Poppy.
How may I be of service, master?
And having that mode, the maid mode, it was kind of acting weird. Yo, Tora's acting kind of weird there, so I thought that was pretty funny when that happened. Next up, the time Mallow started busting out Monados in a fight. Now listen, I'm a Monado boy myself. I love me some Xenoblade, and I love me some Xenoblade lore. So when Mallow started busting out those Monados and the sword, and you saw that light up, I mean, it just started flashing before me all the cool stuff with Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and the lore and the history. It was just dope to see. Next up is the time that Rex friend-zoned Nia.
Rex! Nia, I love you too. I love you and all you guys.
It was so funny to see Nia put out this big speech about how she loves Rex, and then for Rex to just friend zone her right there on the spot. Usually it's the other way around, but man, it was this time here, and it was a sight to behold. When I first played it, I was busting out in laughter. So watch out, Rex. Rex be friend zoning people until he doesn't, and you know what I mean if you played Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now next up, number 40 is the time Nia Mike Tyson'd Rex. Yeah, she might have been holding back too. I mean, Nia just basically gave Rex a right hook, just knocked him into some barrels or some boxes or stuff. It was like Mike Tyson's punch out there, and it made sense because, I mean, why would you leave your friend and give up like that when Pyra's done so much for you and he just wanted to give up? So I'm glad Nia was there to show him that he can't give up just because he got bodied by Malos and Jin and Torna and all of them. So awesome stuff from Nia there. Next up, and quite possibly one of the funniest moments in Xenoblade Chronicles history, I think this whole scene just speaks for itself.
Listen, Pam. I'm sorry, but we really don't have time to play with you today. So hurry on home, okay?
What's this? Were you so frightened by our power that you wet yourself, furry ears?
Did I what? You've got a lot of nerve, you one-eyed monster.
Nia, you do know one-eyed monster usually means...
Huh? Means what?
It's, Mithra, why are you blushing?
Shut up!
Next up is a sense of humor.
You! How did you... What are you doing in my bed?
Wait,
Ah! Get out! Interloper! Monster!
wait a minute, would you? Ow!
The game has a lot of sense of humor. There's a lot of funny parts in the game, and some people call it cringe, some people call it too anime. I call it having a sense of humor. Next up, voice acting. Hey, look, there's this controversy with Pokemon and voice acting and not having it. Well, Xenoblade Chronicles has voice acting, and the voice acting's also very good in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I like their cast that they use. I had no issues with it for the most part. Next up, the time that I got Cosmos as a rare blade, and I lost it. This was like one of the greatest streams that I've ever had. I've been trying to get Cosmos for like a year or something like that. I don't know how long it was, and all of a sudden I was just farming rare core crystals, and bam, Cosmos comes out of nowhere. All right, boys, here's how we're gonna end the stream. We're gonna end the stream opening up these. I need you guys to give me all of your energy on the last two of my legendary core crystals, if we get down to that. Oh, what the fuck? Oh! Yeah, baby! Yes! Yes! We believed! Woo! Let's go! After I justice boost to death, so that was an awesome moment in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 history. Next up is the rare blade unlock screens. I mean, sometimes unlocking it with RNG, that sucks, but when they come out and they do the little moves and look all cool, that's awesome. Next up is some of the rare blade skill trees. Now listen, that freaking polar bear with that girl, you know, I'm not down with that skill tree, but some of the other skill trees are pretty fun and cool to unlock. I just wish they were better handled in terms of notifications and what's going on, but some of the skill trees are pretty cool to unlock as you power them up, and it feels like there's more content to the game. Next up is the Poppy mini game. Yes, the Poppy mini game is kind of fun for a while. I mean, it was fun at first, so I think I like it. I'm not sure if I want to play it over and over as much as I did, but it was still kind of fun at first, so that's good, right? Next up is the different Poppy modes. We're in the Poppy mode here, man, and listen, Poppy's dope. Poppy's one of the dopest characters ever in Xenoblade Chronicles. How Poppy can change forms, and that's what Tora uses. That was really cool. So I am part of the Poppy fan club. Next up, we're at number 31 here. We are humming along, and that is Pyra and Mithra in Super Smash Bros. Now listen, without the success of this game, there would have never been Pyra and Mithra in Super Smash Bros. Because there was a game, Xenoblade Chronicles X, which didn't get any characters into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So the fact that this game did that well, and then Pyra and Mithra got into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, is a testament to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So that's what I like about it. Is that even a thing that we can do? I think so. This is my video. I can do what I want with this. So I'm going to go in and say that's one of the reasons why right there. Now, number 30, the memes. Don't Forget Me. You guys remember Don't Forget Me? That was one of the greatest memes, the song, the music. People would troll me all day on my streams with the music Don't Forget Me and stuff, but it was just great.
Thank you can take me! Thank you can take me! Don't forget me! Thank you can take 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 me! Don't forget me! Thank you can take me! You can take me!
Gotcha!
and the fact that Nintendo acknowledged it after they patched it out and everything was just super cool. So that don't forget me, you think you can take me. All of those memes were really funny, especially on Twitter and stuff. So yeah, I really love that about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that it was such a memeable game at times. Next up, the enemy design. Some of the best enemy designs in Xenoblade Chronicles history has been in this game. Like with the monsters that you fight, some of the stuff that's around. I mean, there's some really, really cool ones. I think that the designers really took their time to make these enemies and the variety. It was dope to see. It was really fun. So that's a good thing about the game. Next up, the strategic battles, which we'll talk about the battle in just a little bit more. But the fact that there's so much strategy and depth put into the battles was something that was great about the game. Now, it could frustrate other people because of how complex it would get and how necessarily not well explained it can get at times, but it was still really fun if you took the time to learn it. Next up is that you can ride on Dromark. Flora heals the aching soul, in addition to riding on Dromark around the vast world of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Next up is exploring different Titans. That was awesome. It was cool to see the different shape of the Titans, how big they were, how small based on wherever you were, and the economy and everything that comes together. That was just a dope thing. I don't know why I like that concept so much, but I really, really like that concept. Number 25, we are halfway through the list here, guys. The fast travel system and loading is pretty quick. I thought that the game would take a long time to load, but no, it's actually pretty fast. People were talking about loading times on Switch and stuff like that, but no, pretty quick. So that was cool. That's fun about the game because you have to travel a lot in the game, so fast travel needs to be pretty good. Next up, supports Pro Controller, Joy-Cons, TV mode, and tabletop. This was a disaster in Xenoblade Chronicles X, guys, because Xenoblade Chronicles X, it allowed you to use the Pro Controller, but you also had to use the gamepad for certain things with mining and all of that. So there was some concern that there would be some weird Pro Controller or control stipulations with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Well, none at all, because it supports everything, and players can play to their heart's content in portable mode, in tabletop mode, in handheld mode, which is portable mode, in any type of mode that you want, and it supports the Pro Controller, supports Joy-Cons together, supports everything. So good job with Monolith Soft on that one. Next up, blades having different type affinities. Listen, the whole Pokemon battle system and stuff like that, where you have affinities, water and fire and electricity and all these different things, and you can have them with certain blades, you can switch between them, that was cool. Affinities attached to blades, that was a good idea, and I like that about the game. Now next up is the game's incredible sales. Nearly 2.5 million as from what we know. December 31st, 2021, we know that the game has sold 2.4 million. So I'm pretty sure it's stacked up a bit since then. That's really good. That's a good thing for the franchise. I like the fact that the game is being successful, and the fact that Takahashi was surprised at the success of the game and very happy because they were able to build Monolith Soft up more from that. So that was awesome. Number 21 here is the game's marketing from the Nintendo side. Look, the marketing leading up into Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it was fun for me to cover the game, but their marketing team did a great job. I think that was the best job that they've done for an RPG or for like a game that wasn't one of their main stuff, like, you know, Zelda or whatever the case is, or Pokemon. The marketing team did a great job in getting the game into the hands of the people out there that like the RPGs. So I loved it from the marketing side, what they did there. All right, guys, top 20, or at least just the 20 left at this point. And the fact that it actually made its December 1st launch in 2017 was really cool, because everyone thought that the game was going to be delayed. Everyone was like, yo, this game's gonna get delayed. It's going to have a problem, you know, like it's not gonna launch, because Xenoblade Chronicles X was delayed multiple times, right? Like it never really made its like initial targets. So everyone felt the same thing for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And that was not the case. Monolith Soft got the game out in December, and I'm so glad that they did, because they needed those Christmas sales for the game. So it was awesome. Next up, the Japanese voice cast. This doesn't get enough love here. You know, here in the US, like the Japanese voice cast for this game is incredible. Some people hated Rex's voice. I thought it was okay, but some people hated it if you play with the Japanese voices. The two that sticks out to me are Morag and how she talks, in addition to like Jomark and how he talks. Like Rex is fine, it sounds okay, whatever. Nia, they all sound pretty good in Japanese, but I'm telling you, man, Morag's voice is when I was like, whoa, that sounds interesting.
やるようになったな、少年。天の聖杯、容姿が変わったようだな。何があった？
So yes, Japanese voice cast was awesome. Next up, more on Morag. Morag's blade, Bridget, one of the best designed, if not the best designed blade. I don't think we get enough love for Bridget. She is an awesome designed blade. I love it, and they kind of brought that back a little bit with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, right, with the blue fire and everything. So Bridget, favorite blade, you know, was Bridget. She's awesome. Love the design of her. I think she's really cool, and I like her story too. That was also dope. It's a little bonus thing that I like about it as well. Next up, Pyra Mithra design. Listen, we're talking about designs here. Pyra Mithra, I don't care what anybody tells you online. I don't care what any of these weirdos, when they say about, oh my gosh, it's revealing outfit. I don't care. The design of it is really cool. It's not that bad. To me, it looks just dope. Pyra Mithra's design looks really cool. Kind of like Xena Princess Warrior-ish for Mithra, or like, I don't know, like Valkyrie for like Mithra. And then for Pyra, it just seems like it's a really cool fire, you know, Inferno Blaze themed outfit. I like it quite a bit. Not everybody does, but I like it. This is my video, so I like it. Next up, number 16 here, guys, the special edition that wasn't hard to get. You know, we talk about these things, right? Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the My Nintendo special only, because Nintendo had to move the release date and the books weren't ready and all this other stuff. There was a lot of drama. But back in the day, 5 years ago, you could have strolled up to any Amazon, any Best Buy, any of these storefronts and got the special edition and be up hundreds of dollars more than what you paid for it. So that was pretty cool. I got one on Amazon. I still have it to this day, and it is great to own that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 special edition. Now, next up is the connection between Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and also Xenoblade Chronicles 2, in addition to Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I love that about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It did a good job of bridging everything. It was a great bridge. It was sturdy. It did not collapse, so that was a good thing. No spoilers here. Next up is the combat announcer, which the combat announcer is not in the other games or whatever, but he's here in Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Blade combo, surge force.
And he's kind of awesome. He's kind of really cool. Reminds me of like the old school arcades and stuff. So that was dope to have the combat announcer at that time, at least. Next up is the team at Monolith Soft that made the game. Around only 40 to 50 people, some core devs at Monolith Soft, some outside contracted help. But the fact that they were able to do this is a testament to the game's quality, is a testament to the game. Only 40 to 50 people making this. Monolith Soft is the best, in my opinion, the best developers. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2 kind of proves that to me, at least, because look at what they did with the budget, team size, and like time that they had. It was incredible. So you got to give them love. Got to give Xenoblade Chronicles 2 love as well for that. Next up is the guest artwork. Some of the artwork in the game, who they got to make stuff, Final Fantasy and other characters like that inspired. It was pretty cool. We got to give them some hype, some love for the guest artwork in the game, like with the design of the blades. That was all super, super, super dope. Next up, game sliders and customization. This is something that was added later. I think a lot of the quality of life stuff too, I think you can put that in there to where you can customize the game to how you want to play. They added so much stuff to make it more playable, and I think that that really helped with long-term sales. When people were trying to say that the sales are dead, they weren't really. Just wasn't selling like Mario and Zelda or whatever the case is. But these things like game adjustments and sliders and customization and quality of life options, all the stuff that they added afterwards was really cool and one of my favorite things about the game. We're at number 10 here, top 10 here, boys and girls, is having interchangeable blades for combat. Now, we talked a little bit about the combat and affinities, but being able to change between 3 on a person, the multiple characters on screen with that, it gave you a lot of options. The blade, customization, everything there, having 3, it was dope. It was fun, it was different, it was unique, it was something that nobody else was doing, and still to this day, you can go in there and have a ton of fun and customization and depth and variety, and that's what us RPG players want when it comes down to it. Number 9, replay value. Replay value is very important in my opinion, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 delivers it in spades, in tons, in bucket loads, in a lot, truckfuls. There's a lot of replay value in the game. That's what we need. We need more content and replay value. You can beat the game if you want to beat the game, but for those who want to perfect it, they need that value in there. Next up, fan service. Shulk, Elma, yes, that type of fan service. I love the fact that they're like, hey, you know what? We're going to do something that pretty much doesn't make sense, but we're going to do it anyway. Connecting Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and Xenoblade Chronicles X, being able to use Shulk, Fiora, also Elma in the game, that's just like super cool. It's something that I really, really liked in the game, and it was one of the best things. When I first saw Shulk shaking hands with Rex, that's when I knew. I was like, this is something special right here. They're doing something for us. Let's freaking go, you know, at the end of the day. So that was dope. Next up, the graphics. Now listen, the graphics aren't perfect, performance isn't perfect, but the game, in terms of how it looks, is phenomenal. like I said, with the resources and what they had at that time, absolutely phenomenal. I think the game looks great. I think the art style and the art direction is one of the best in the industry for a big RPG like this. So absolutely, when it comes to the graphics and art as well. Next up, the villains, Jin and Malos to be exact. I mean, especially Malos. I think Malos is one of the most menacing, conniving, crazy dudes out there.
You make me laugh, you know that? Look at you. That salvager brat I picked up in Argentum. Standing here with the gall to challenge me?
Someone's gotta. We're not gonna lose to the likes of you.
You did well to make it this far. But you end here.
The stuff that he did in Torna, the stuff that he did in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, absolutely insane. And his voice acting and his demeanor and how he operates in the games is just really cool. So the villains in this game were really, really, really good. Next up, Torna the Golden Country. The fact that Nintendo and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was saying, hey, we're going to offer this huge expansion and everything that expands upon what Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at its core is really cool. So the fact that that was even there and like the updates and everything that came with it for $30, I think it was worth mentioning. Next up, number 4, the main cast of characters. Listen, this cast of characters is one of the best, in my opinion. Like, you can say what you want about Rex and certain characters, but the cast is dope. Nia is a phenomenal character. I love her. Once again, Poppy, great characters. Tora, great character. I mean, there's so much cool stuff in this game with the characters and what they do and how they interact with each other. I think Monolith Soft has perfected that when it comes to the cast and the interactions and what they say and what they do. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is no exception. The cast is absolutely incredible. Next up, and we're getting here, top 3, guys, the music. Oh, you gotta love the music in the game. You gotta love the music. It's so good that still to this day, we play the music, we enjoy it. I listen to it myself. I think Counterattack is my favorite track, one of my favorite tracks of all time in video games. I mean, there's so many bangers over and over and over and over and over and over and over in this game, which is a crime that it wasn't nominated for Soundtrack of the Year or OST of the Year at the Game Awards and other places. But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has some of the best music. You can go listen to it. It's really, really, really good. All right, guys. Number 2, world design. Gotta love how the world was designed and the politics and everything that plays a part into it. The lore, the scoping, everything was finally crafted in this game. I've talked about it a little bit here with some of the other things, but how it all comes together with everything. Like I said, lore and also with the Titans, with the environments, with how everything is structured within the whole world and how it's designed is just absolutely peak in my opinion. And number 1, the story. The story is the thing to me that keeps Xenoblade Chronicles 2 going and going and going. There's this fabled land, Elysium. There's this promised land. You have this Blade, Pyra, Mithra that have suffered, that is just going through this, and all they want is just to go there and be at peace. They want to know what is going on with this world, and you want to figure out what's going on. There's so many supernatural things. There's so many crazy things that happen in this game, and the story constantly pushes you with its chapter system to find out what's next, The flashbacks, connecting the dots and the pieces, and then the build up to the ending, and actually what happens at the end of the game just makes your mind just explode, especially if you've beaten Xenoblade Chronicles 1 first. If you've beaten that game first and you headed into this game and got to that part, the story and the build up to what they did to connect things was just incredible, was just peak to me. And that's what made me say, all right, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I don't care what I dislike about the game, that story and that ending was worth it. So that's 50 things I love about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Hopefully you guys made it through the whole video. Do not show beat 'em ups, my friend Woodhawker. Do not show beat 'em ups this video. I think he will unfriend me if you do. So what did you guys think about this video? When it comes down to it, let me know in the comment section below and give me your top things. What things you love about Xenoblade Chronicles 2? What do you love about the franchise? What do you love about Xenoblade? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.